Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Keeneland Racecourse here on Sunday. It is the 7th of April, 2024. Gonna look at the stakes action from Keeneland, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for racecourses around the world, and I mean around the world. Let's look at the stakes action, races 7 and 8. 7th race from Keeneland, it is the Palisades Stakes. It's going for a purse of $250,000. Race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 14 horses entered, only 12 could go. 1,100 meters or 5.5 furlongs on the Keeneland turf course. My top selection here in the Palisades, I'm going to go with the 5-horse Silent Heart. 5-8-4-6 for me in the superfecta. 5-8-4-6 super. Top selection of 5-horse Silent Heart. 3-year-old colt by Heart to Heart. Brian Lynch trains. John Velazquez gets the mount. Horse's most recent outing came the 2nd of March at Gulfstream, 1 mile in the Colonel Liam Stakes, and he finished third by a neck that day, and he was with them early on. He was a little bit wide. He drifted late, which probably cost him the victory, just kind of yielded late. It wasn't his day to win. I like him cutting back and trip. Come to 5.5 where he doesn't need the lead. He has a very good poster. We could track all the way down the race course. I think he could find the trip to win in this very, speedy race. Two back ran at Gulfstream on the 12th of January, 5 furlongs off turf, on to Pete on off 75 claimer. He won by a half a length that day, and he stuck beautifully that day. He got to the front and he quickened up and he got the job done. A very good performance for him there. And then 7th of December at Gulfstream, 5 furlongs in the main special weight. Guess what? He broke his main in his third start, winning by 2.25 lengths on the front and almost all throughout. Again, he was drifting that day, but he still got the job done. He's training well since the last race at Palm Meadows. Coming here today, I just hope he doesn't drift. He can win at 6-1. I think your second likeliest winner here is the 8-horse My Boy Prince for Joel Rosario Marcassi. Most recently, they ran him in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf at Santini over the mile, and at 5.5-1, he had a very good third place finish by 1.5 lengths. He stalked, he had the lead. The winner caught him late, but he ran his heart out that day. I do think something, cutting back and trip is going to be the right thing for him. He won over the route trip 2 back, but he had everything his own way in the front end in the Cup and Saucer at Woodbine. A mile 16th about on the E.P. Taylor turf course. He won by 4.25 lengths that day, and like I said, basically with his own way on the front end, he won quite easily there. And the Summer Stakes finished second by 2.25 lengths. Over the mile trip, he just yielded in that final 2 furlongs. I think he's been crying out for less distance. He's going to get it today. At 7-2 wouldn't surprise me. It also wouldn't surprise me if no name Mets would win also for George Weaver and Ira Ortiz Jr. Broke the main in the Royal Palm Juvenile at Gulfstream last year, going 5 on their turf course. Gave Mets run at Royal Ascot where the horse just didn't get the greatest ride by Frankie that day. I thought he should have been more into it early on. And then came back to won the Tyro at Monmouth, won the Rosies at Colonial, and had a decent 4th at in the Breeders' Cup, where I just thought he had a bit of a trouble trip from the inside. Getting a better trip here today from this inside post draw. Training well Palm Beach. At 5-2, I would use this horse in the pick 4 also. But to recount my selection for the 7 from Keeneland, it is the Palisades. Going to take the 5-horse Silent Heart. Give kudos to the 8-horse My Boy Prince and the 4-horse No Name Mets. 5-8-4-6 Super. 5-8-4 in the multi-race. The featured 8th race now, it is the Beaumont Stakes. It's a Grade 2 event going for a $400,000 purse, race for 3-year-old fillies. 6 of them are going about 1,400 meters or about 7 furlongs and 184 feet on the Keeneland main track. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the 1-horse Denim and Pearls. 1-3-6-2 for me in the superfecta. 1-3-6-2 super. Top selection, 1-horse Denim and Pearls. 3-0 for the Into the Mischief. Brad Cox trains. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came on the slop on the 3rd of February at Oaklawn. A mile 16th in the Martha Washington, and she finished second by 2.75 lengths that day. She was very wide. The winner band of gold had the jump on her. I think she's been crying out for less distance. She's going to get it today. She could be forwardly paced. I think this is the perfect kind of spot for this horse today. 2 back she ran on New Year's Eve and the year's end at Oaklawn. 1 mile there. She finished second by 3/4 length. And again, she stalked from wide post draw. She had the lead. She got caught late. She just didn't want to go the mile trip around 2 turns. She won her 1-turn mile at Churchill. It was basically a sprint. And Optional 100 claimer in the 25th of November. She won by 3.75 lengths. She stalked. She found the front end, and she got the job done. A very good race there. And Breaker Maiden going 6.5 locally in October. She won by a nose. She had to grind it out to the wire, but she got the job done. Training well at Oaklawn and at Churchill since the last race. Cutting back and trip from the last one. I think that's the key to victory for this one. I think the 3-horse Tipsy Tammy for John Velazquez and Philip Bauer can win also. First time allowance quality horses and winners at Fairgrounds going 6th on the 3rd of March. She finished 3rd by 5.25 lengths that day, and she just, didn't get out of the gate so clearly, a little bit wide, and she just wanted something more. The win 2 back going 6 at the Fairgrounds wasn't bad at all on the 1st of February, and even on debut on New Year's Day, she had a very good place behind behind a decent horse that day, where she was just a little bit wide, but she got down the race course well. Coming here to facing stakes, very tough stakes quality horses, I'll give her a shot. She's also training well, and also watch out for the 6 horse here. You'll almost you'll almost day me, something like that. Pardon me, it's been a very long day, can't speak. Tyler Gaffleone's on this one for Brad Cox. Was a winner 2 back in the Ferns Creek and won the Myrtle Wood on this course quite nicely in October. They tried the horse in the Pocahontas over the mile where she just wasn't getting it, but in her short career she's run quite nicely. Refreshing here over about 7 furlongs, that's what she wants to do. She could win at even money, but even money off the bench is very hard for me with this one. I think Demon and Pearls will probably drift up in price. You'll probably get a better price than her, and she's also proven that she could do over this trip well. But it's a very good Beaumont. You go a few ways in this one. So let's recap my selections now for the 8th from Keeneland, which is the Grade 2 Beaumont. Going to take the 1 horse Denim and Pearls. Give kudos to the 3 horse Tipsy Tammy and the 6 horse 1362 Super 136 in the multi race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck.